Hey guys, what's up? It is the Tia Skipper here, and I have a beautiful video today. So my question is, and I gotta read it because I don't know why I keep getting tongue twisted as I say it, but my question is also today's topic. Okay, so the question is, how aware are you of yourself? Not critically, but beautifully. How aware are you of yourself? And I'm asking this because it's so easy to feel like, oh, I'm aware of myself, I know what's going on with me. If you're used to being self-aware in a critical way, it's easy to think you're self-aware. But my question to you is like, how aware are you of you beautifully? Like, not the stuff you need to fix, you need to work on, if it was your fault or not. Like, how aware are you of how beautiful you are, of what your true contribution is? Let me say this first. I'm finding myself giving disclaimers in my videos because of things I've gone through in my past and stuff that I've seen on social media. Largely, my videos are for people who don't know this about themselves. It's not really about the people who feel like, oh, I know I'm a good friend. Because I hate to say it, but some of y'all are not good friends. But that's a whole nother video. So this is not really for those who are like, oh yeah, I know I'm a good friend. Oh yeah, I know I'm a blessing to God's green earth. Oh yeah, I already know. It's for people who you have spent so much time and you've put so much focus on perfecting yourself, fixing yourself, working on yourself, trying to make sure you're valuable, that you're providing value to other people. You're so busy trying to make sure that you are the good friend in the group, that you are contributing into everything that you do, that you are good at your job, that people can count on you, that you are a good daughter, a good sister, a good auntie, a good uncle, whatever it is. You're so busy trying to make sure that you're not a burden to anybody, that you don't put as much attention on how beautiful you are. Okay? This is for you all who are just so critical and you're just always striving to be better and you don't see the best that you've already become. This is for you. So as I started by saying, self-awareness can't just be critical. It has to be a holistic thing. So it has to be critically and beautifully, right? You can't just be, oh, I know I'm the best thing smoking. Anybody who lost me, they lost. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. That's not how that works. That's not how that works. You may be a good person, but it don't mean that people who lost you was lost for them. For some people walking away, it may be like a whoo, because that person was too much, because you lack the awareness of what you should have been critical about, of what you should have been working on. So you don't want to go too far on either spectrum. You don't want to be super critical, and you don't want to just think that you just sweet pea and anybody who has a problem is their problem and it just couldn't be you. We don't want that. But you want to meet right in the middle. You want to have a holistic approach, you know. It ain't all bad and it ain't all good. But we want to look at the full picture, because not looking at the full picture is what causes us to really look at things inappropriately. And because we're not looking at things in the right way, that informs the type of relationships we get into, what we feel like we deserve, how we treat people. So it's very important that you know exactly who you are, and not just the parts that you either feel like are really good, and not just leading with the parts you feel like you always need to fix or work on. Okay. The next thing, are you aware of how much credit you're not giving yourself? Now, let me say this. The reason I'm doing this video is because I had this revelation with a friend the other day, and I almost cried in the car. And I realized that I've had this issue over the years. I've heard it so many times. Tia, you're too hard on yourself, or you don't give yourself enough credit, or you give people way too much credit, you know, or you way too humble, or you give people, you're giving away your opportunities to people, like you're giving up your seat for people. Like I heard it, but I didn't get a revelation of what was really going on. And so when I was talking to a friend the other day, it just hit me in a different way, which is what a revelation is, right? It's not when you can just hear something and oh yeah, I get what you're saying, or I understand what you're saying. But when you have a revelation of something, you can see what is being said in your mind. Not see it with your eyes, but you can see in your mind, like, oh, it causes an inward vision towards what's being said. And what I didn't realize was, oh, I feel myself getting emotional. I did not realize how much I wasn't seeing myself. I had just been on this trajectory as long as I can remember of fixing and proving and pushing and doing and trying and making sure I'm valuable, making sure I'm doing the job and overperforming. Like, I didn't even know I was overperforming. I was so obsessed on making sure that I did well and that I took care of the things I needed to take care of, and that no one was disappointed with me, that I didn't even realize I had overdone the job, overdone the development, overdone the thinking, overdone the service, overdone the giving, overdone the extending myself. And while doing all of that, not seeing me, because had I saw like myself, I would have known like, oh, I'm done here. Oh, there's nothing else to give here. Or, oh, I'm giving away credit to someone else, when really the credit for this really does belong to me. I just didn't feel comfortable with the praise, because when people praised me, that's when the enemies showed up. That's when people's envy showed up. That's when people's jealousy showed up. And I just got tired of dealing with people being jealous. I got tired of dealing with people being envious. I got tired of dealing with people treating me differently when I was praised openly. And so I was finding ways, low key, to just stay in the shadow, to push away my light, or to give my light away, or to give my spotlight away, just so that it could feel safe, or so I could feel some sense of belonging, which was not real belonging. And so while I'm having all of this revelation, my friend was just like, you just not, like, you saying you may be lost in this area, but you're not. Like, I can very clearly see you, Tia. Like, if you really pay attention, look at all the things you were doing. Look at all the things you accomplished, while also feeling like you didn't know what you were doing, or while also feeling like you were lost. Look at all you're doing. And when he said that, I really started to look, and I'm like, dang. And I didn't give myself credit for none of it. I was so in the thick of trying to get somewhere. And while we were talking, I was sitting there, I said, you know what? I feel like I've just always been trying to get to worthy. I feel like I've always just been trying to get to safety. I've been trying to get to, if I can get this done, if I can do this in a certain way, then I'll get to a space where I'm safe, where I'll be loved, right? If I can lose this weight, then I know I'll have better chances or opportunities for a good mate. If I can just, like, and then looking at being fat as a blocker to love, because I experienced that as a child. So I'm still living life. I was still living life like that. Performance, being a perfectionist. I didn't even see myself as a perfectionist. I didn't think I was a perfectionist, because in no way did I think I was perfect, or even that I could be perfect. But looking at the results of what I had done, it was, a lot of stuff was spectacular, and I couldn't even say that out of my mouth. Even saying that now on camera feels so uncomfortable, to be honest about the great parts of me. And I was sitting there, and I just was crying, and then we started talking about people pleasing, and I said, you know what? I said the reason why people pleasing was so easy for me was because it was easy for people to think the worst of me, who didn't even know me. And so because I'm trying to guarantee outcomes, I'm trying to make sure people can see my heart, I'm trying to make sure people can see who I am, I'm trying to make sure that I don't create enemies, even though I didn't do anything to these people. I just walked in the room, and some people's first impression is, who does she think she is? I ain't said a word, child. I literally just bumped through the room. That's it. But because of how I look, or how I present myself, because of my aura or my essence, that's what they came up with, and I wasn't comfortable with that. And so here it is, the focus became everyone else, and then what they were saying became internalized, and then it became a critical voice that lived inside of my head, and then I became self-aware, but really all I became was critically aware. I was so blinded to all of the beautiful parts of me, the beauty of me, the stuff that if I never worked on another day in my life, it would still be beyond this world. It would still be beyond worthy. And so I'm doing this video. That's why I gave that disclaimer for who this is for, and who is not for. Because you can be so busy trying to work on yourself, because somewhere in your life, in the developmental part of your life, you were made to feel like you had to work for belonging, or work or earn worthiness, and you're still doing it. And so now you've come up in life, and you You may be making a name for yourself or creating a living or a lifestyle for yourself, but it still feels hard on the inside. You still feel like you're always working, you're always thinking, you're always trying, you're always proving, you're always pushing, you're always hustling, you're always doing something. You're never satisfied with what you've done. You feel what I'm saying? Or you got stuff you've been done that should have been out, but it's not out yet because you're still trying to perfect it. It's because you are so critically aware of yourself, but not beautifully aware. Another way to be beautifully aware of yourself is the growth that you've had. Because of the environment and the social status that we live in now, it seems like the only way you feel like you can gauge, or we feel like we can gauge our growth, is by the numbers on social media. It's by the numbers or the zeros in a check. You understand? But growth first happens in an unseen place. When you put a seed in the ground, and if it's having the right conditions to grow, it's growing before you can see that it's growing. By the time you see the growth, it had already started. It had already been doing what it's supposed to do. It had already been informed. You know what I'm saying? And so now in this time, we can be so critical because like, oh, I'm not getting the numbers that I want to get. Oh, I'm not monetized yet. Oh, I'm not getting the brand deals. Oh, I'm not getting these external things that would make other people think that I'm growing and that I'm leveling up. But the truth is, there may be so many signs of growth. You probably didn't have a skincare routine before. Now you do. You may have been struggling to take care of yourself, but now you are. You may have gone through a long period of time where you weren't good, being a good steward over your bills or even able to pay your bills. Now you are in a space to do that. Like, you may have been in a space where when you noticed red flags in relationships, you would still get in them and you would stay in them, and you would stay in them for years. Now, the last bad relationship you had maybe only lasted 1 year, but the one you had before lasted 4 years. That may not be the level of growth that you want to see, but it is truly growth, and it is beautiful. You are growing, and no algorithm, no analytics, no metrics have to be shown to see that, because the truth of the matter, that's not an indicator of growth. We see people all the time who done got caught up by the feds, child, for PPP loans, all kinds of fraud, and the metrics was going up. They was doing good on the algorithm. The analytics was up. Everything externally looked like growth, but these were people who were shoplifting and stealing. No type of growth, no type of character, no type of integrity. So what you see as beautiful can't just be the makeup, the external things. It is beautiful, but it doesn't mean that it's an actual sign of growth. It doesn't mean that it's an actual indicator of if there's beauty on the inside. And so I'm saying that to say that it's easy to be critical about my numbers not doing well, but maybe your spirit is. Hello. You can't see your spirit, but you can feel it, and people experience it, right? You may have had issues with boundaries before. You saying no more now than you ever have. That's growth, Bookie, and it's worth praise. It's worth praise. And so I hope that the vitality in which I'm feeling this in my spirit and my heart, I hope that it reaches those who need to hear it, and that you feel it the same. It's like you are growing. And you need to, don't turn off the awareness of things that you need to work on. That's a great thing. But the really great thing, because I know you feel like you're getting kudos for working on yourself. I know you think you get brownie points for staying in this constant cycle of self-development. But the real game changer, boo, is to look at the whole picture. And so, okay, I still don't need to work on that. But also give yourself credit for how far you've come. And that doesn't have to be based on anything external, anything with a tag on it, anything luxury. The highest luxury experience is what's going on in your inner world, because this is where you live 24/7. Hello? The next thing, I know that it's been, for a while, it's been this whole theme of be delusional, be delusional. I have my thoughts on that. So the reason why I'm factoring this into this is because being aware of your beauty, or being aware of the good parts of you, I don't want you to file that under being delusional. because it's almost like an insult within itself. Like, to say that, thinking that I'm worthy of really, really great things, or that I am an amazing person, or all these things that I normally wouldn't have been able to fathom, thinking that that's a delusional thought is kind of the same as saying that that wouldn't at all be possible. And it is possible. So if it is very much so possible, it is not delusional. You get what I'm saying? And then delusional comes with some type of imbalance. If you notice it, some of the people who talk about living by this delusion on social media could stand to be a little bit more grounded, because being that delusional where you're not really aware of who you are and what you really are can really set you up for failure more than anything. Yeah, it may get you into places you never thought that you would be, but you won't be able to stay there if you're delusional about what it takes to actually maintain it. And so I don't want you to be delusional about the good parts of you, but just tell the truth. And sometimes it's hard for us to tell the truth. We don't know, especially if you never felt beautiful, especially if being beautiful wasn't mirrored to you, if your type of beauty was not celebrated or praised, if you weren't praised for your accomplishments or just praised for just being, right? Then maybe you don't know. And sometimes you have to talk it out. So for me, I was able to see clear because I was talking it out with a friend who actually cares about me, who means me well. You understand? And so certain things that I couldn't see in myself, they were able to say, wait. I can't let you chew yourself out like that, because the amount that you have done, the amount that you contribute, the amount that you like, no, I'm not gonna let you talk to my friend like that. Like, that's what my friend said to me. So sometimes you need to talk to somebody else that can help you see it. Because if you're just so anally critical and that's all you've known, you may not know how to see how you're beautiful, because you may not even believe it. You may think, I gotta be delusional to see it. No, you don't. You just may need help seeing it. But it don't have to be a delusional thought. That could be really why you're beautiful. That could be a real thing attributed unto you. So if you don't have a good friend, maybe you have a good mentor. Someone who's not jealous of you. Someone who doesn't need to take from this situation. Somebody who's okay with letting this conversation be about you. That's what you need. Somebody who can just help you see that you don't have to keep working for something you already are. And so that's it, y'all. I just wanted to share that to you, that if you like me, oh baby, I'm a podcast. I will listen to a podcast down. I will listen to a sermon down. All the books I have are self-development books. I just told my friend, like, you know what? I want to get into nonfiction. Like, I want to get into just reading stories that are just like made up great stories. I'm tired of feeling like I'm always working on myself, or I'm always trying to fix myself, or I'm always trying to fix something. I just want to kind of live. So I offer that to you too. Like, maybe replace one of the podcasts or one of the sermons, because I'm not saying don't listen to them, that's cool, but if we were to formulate this like a skincare routine, you don't need a lot of the same thing. You need something in each department to cater to the different areas that you have. So maybe watch like a little cute video, like a get ready with me, or how to create a new style for yourself. Like something that's just fun and light and creative and exciting to do. That has nothing to do with you trying to be high value, make money from a business, be liked by everybody. Like, how to tell if this person is a narcissist. Is your husband coming? Is your wife coming? Like, none of that stuff. Like, go take a cooking class. You know what I'm saying? Like, learn something fun or do something fun that ends up being something that you've learned from. But just